Hi, welcome back again. And today we're going to learn on how logic functions or formulas are applied within the Excel. We're going to see how they help us into decision making. And one thing I like about Excel, you can run your entire business, your entire company with only Excel, and you eliminate those daily subscription. You download the app, they ask you for money, monthly subscription. One thing I like Excel, you do everything within it. So let's dive into and we learn something new today. Okay. Now here we are. I have my data sheet here whereby I have my employees data, and we're going to see first what we call the if function, how it works and how we apply it. So I have my employees data here, as you can see, and this time I have my employees ID, their name, the department, attendance performance, percentage, performance score, year of service, monthly salary. And I want to find their attendance status using the if function. And I'll use these codes here, as you can see. And I'll say if the attendance percentage is 90% or higher, then that employee attendance status will be good. If it's below 90, then the status will be poor. So let's see. I'll just come here below my header. Then I start with my equal sign. Then I write the if function. It will pop up here like this. I will double click it. Then it will ask me for the logic test. Now this time the logic test will be in my attendance percentage. Okay. So I'll just click this cell under attendance column, which is D2. And I say if D2 is greater or equal to 90%, then comma, then that employee, he has a good status. Then I write good there, I put comma, and I say if that employee is below 90%, then he has a poor status. As simple as that. Then I close my brackets, then I hit enter. As you can see, we got our results. So what I'll do next, I'll just click on my cell, which has my formula. Then I'll just come up down here in the corner. I just double click there, as you can see, and our answers will autofill all the way down. So that's how we use the if function. But one thing you have to note here, that if you're using the if function only works with one column, and it sets only two conditions: the yes or the no, the good or the bad. Only two conditions with only one column, and as we're going to see as we're going. So that's how you use the if function. Let's move on to the if with the and. Okay, now within here I have the same table again, and I have again my attendance status as we fill there in the other example. So it is the same table, and within here I need to find the promotion eligible. Okay, what it says, they say create a column called promotion eligible. The rule is like promote an employee only if one, his performance score is 90 or above, and the next one is if his attendance is 95% or above, and if the year of service is 5 years and more. Otherwise, if that employee doesn't have all the requirements, the three requirements, then that employee is not eligible. So within this, and they've told us to use the if with the and. Remember, the if help you to find it help you in decision making. Okay, and the hand, since we have different columns, like we use the attendance, okay, the performance and the year of service, they actually three different columns. That's why we add the and function, because the and help us to add these three columns together so that we can get our results. Okay, hope you got it. So we shall just come into our cell here, the first cell. Okay, and we say, they said we shall use the performance score, this column, and the attendance percentage plus the year of service, the three column, to determine our results, or to determine whether the employee is eligible for promotion or not. So I'll just start with my equal sign. I write the if function. There it is. Now it will ask me for the logic test. Now before I write the logic test, I just add the and function. It will pop up here. Then I'll double click it like this. Okay. Then this and help me to write different logics together before I set up my result. You understand? So it asks me for the logic one, which will be the performance score, and it's in column E2. I'll just say if E2 is greater or equal to, they said 90, comma, then the logic test 2 will be the attendance percentage, and the attendance percentage is in column D2. I'll say the same, is greater or equal to 95. Again, I put comma, and the third one, it's year of service, and it is in column F. So I just click this cell and I say if it's greater or equal to 5 years. Then after that, I'll just close with a bracket. Then I put a comma. Then I set my rule. Okay. If an employee meets all these conditions set here, then that employee should be eligible for the promotion. So I'll just write eligible here. If he or she does not meet all those conditions, then he should not be eligible. So I'll just write not eligible as they told me to write. So I'll just close my prefaces, then I end up with a closing, then I hit enter. As you can see, we've got our result. So after here, what we shall do, I'll just come back here within my cell which has my formula. I double click like this, then my answers will automatically autofill till down. As you can see, we've got our result. That is how we use the if with the and it's only used when you're setting multiple condition in different columns. Okay, that's when you add the and. Okay, so we've seen the if and. So let's move on the ifs condition. So within here, again, I have the same what? The same data, employees data here, and you can see the results here, which we done already. So within here, we want to find the performance grade of our employees, and the setup we shall follow this so that we can determine. So we shall set our performance grade according to their performance score. So they said if their performance score is 90 to 100, then that employee should be excellent, should be marked excellent. Okay, then if it's 80 to 89, then he should be marked very good. 70 to 79, then is good. Then 60 to 69, fair. Then below 60, then that employee performance grade is poor. So we shall click our first cell here into our column. Then we start with an equal sign, and this time we're using the ifs. So I'll just start with my ifs here. I'll double click it. Then it will ask me for the first logic. Since we're using the performance score, so I'll just click the first cell into the performance score. Then I say if this cell E2 is great or equal to 90, then this employee performance is excellent, right? Then I close my parentheses, then I put a comma, and we set another condition. If this employee, again, same cell, E2 is great or equal to 80, then comma, then this employee's performance is very good. Okay, then we put another comma, again same cell, E2, if it's great or equal to 70, comma, then this employee's performance is good. Okay, close this, we put a comma, then again same cell, E2, if it's great or equal to 60, okay, then this employee's performance will be fair. Okay, close that, we put a comma, and the last one, if this employee, same cell, E2, is less than 60, then this employee's performance is poor. I close that, put my brackets, then I hit enter. As you can see, we've got our results. So what to do next? You come back, you click that cell within your formula, then you double click it here, and the answers will be automatically filled all the way down. As you can see, we've got our results or our performance grade. One thing you should note here, when you're using the if function, this if function help you to set many results, but within one column. Okay, it helps you to set many results, but within one column only. Whereas the if helps you to set only one condition with two results. Okay, so that is the difference between the two. So we shall move on to another example, and whereby this we shall use the ifs with the and. Okay, remember I told you the and, you put the and when you're adding two columns together to get the same result. Okay, so in this case we're finding the HR decision. So I'll just leave it. So in this case, they told us to create a column named HR decision, which I already named here. And the rule would be if the condition, the performance is great or equal to 90, and their attendance is 95%, then that employee should be employed, should be promoted. So within here, we shall start with our equal sign here again, equal sign. Then we write our ifs function, then it will ask for us the logic. But before we put the logic, since our condition requires two columns, then we shall add an and. Okay, I will double click there, then I'll set my first logic, which is performance, and the performance is under column E2. So I just click that cell and I say if this E2 is great or equal to 90, comma, then my second logic test will be in the attendance column, and the attendance column is under here, D2. I'll just click this cell and I write the same thing. If it's greater or equal to 95, then after here writing this, I'll put my brackets. Since the other conditions, they are only in performance, okay, so I'll just close with my bracket, then I hit comma, so I just write my answer, that the promotion, like if these two cell, the attendance and the performance, they are together, they have the same result, then this employee should be promoted. Hope you're picking something, guys. So I'll just close with my parentheses, then I put a comma. Then after putting a comma, I can go on and write the rest logic test. So I'll just go with the another one is performance, and it's under E2. So I'll just click this cell E2. If it's great or equal to, they said 80, then this employee should have an annual increment. Okay, then comma, another logic is again in performance, so I'll just click this cell E2 again. If it's greater or equal to 70, then this employee should require training required. Okay, then I put another comma, and our next logic test is again in performance, so I'll just write click cell E2, greater or equal to 60, comma, then this employee should require performance improvement plan. Okay, so I just write performance improvement plan. I close it with that. I put a comma. Then our last logic is if this employee again E2 is less than 60 scores, then less than 60 scores, then this employee will require what? A termination review. Okay, I close it with that, then I end up with my brackets. So as you can see here on our formula bar, then we check our formula. After checking it, I'll just hit enter. As you can see, we got our result. So when I come back here, I just double click here. All our results, they are within the cell. So guys, that's how we use the logic test to accomplish the decision making within our working space. Okay, hope you learned something new, and make sure you click that plus button, share this video till it reaches that person who needs it, follow for more, and give me a like, and let's meet in the comment section. Tell me what you think, or which other formula you want me to talk about so that you can get it. Otherwise, thank you. See you in the next video.